The bizarre disappearance of the Sodder children, a family tragedy or a cover-up? On Christmas Eve, 1945, the Sodder family in West Virginia was fast asleep in their rural home. George and Jenny Sodder, along with their 9 children, had just finished celebrating the holiday together. But at 1:00 a.m., a mysterious fire broke out in the house, engulfing it in flames. George and Jenny managed to escape, but 5 of their children were 14, Martha 12, Louis 9, Jenny 8, and Betty 5 were still inside. As the fire raged, George tried to reach them, but the stairs collapsed, blocking the way. Firefighters arrived hours later, only to find that the house was completely destroyed. There was no sign of the children's bodies. Officials declared the 5 children dead, assuming they had perished in the flames. However, George and Jenny were not convinced. No bodies were found in the rubble, and no remains were ever recovered, not even bones. The fire was intense, but it seemed strange that nothing could be found. A few weeks later, George and Jenny began to receive strange phone calls and letters. People claimed to have seen the children alive after the fire in different towns and states. One letter suggested they had been kidnapped and that the fire was a cover-up. The Sodders began to investigate, uncovering more unsettling details. A neighbour reported seeing a car parked near the Sodder house just before the fire. A woman in a nearby town claimed she had seen the children in a store the day after the fire. The family also received a letter with a photograph of 5 children, one of whom resembled Morris, smiling with a man and woman they didn't know. The photograph was postmarked from a location far from the fire. The Sodders were convinced their children were alive and being held somewhere. They hired private investigators, but no one could find any leads. Then, in 1950, George and Jenny received another chilling discovery. They had the ruins of the house examined again, and this time human remains were found, bones buried beneath the ashes. The remains were examined, but they didn't match the children. Were the children victims of a kidnapping plot orchestrated by someone close to the family? Was the fire a deliberate act to cover up the crime? Some suggest that the fire was set by local mafia members as an act of revenge against George, who had made enemies through his business dealings. Could the children have been stolen as part of a larger conspiracy? The story of the Sodder children's disappearance has never been solved, despite decades of investigation and speculation. Could it have been a tragic accident, or was there a sinister plot at work? The truth remains buried under decades of mystery and unanswered questions. The question is, do you believe the Sodder children were kidnapped, or is there another explanation for their disappearance? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more unresolved cases. What do you think really happened to the 5 Sodder children?